Hello everyone and welcome back to WolfQuest, The Lost Tales. Now this time was a little bit special because once again we had a tie, and while I was working on Centauri's story, you guys voted that we should also air Lexell's story as well. So we'll be playing as Lexell today. We're actually here in Lost River, and we're going to be playing on Challenging, which apparently it didn't actually give us the ability to do that. Okay then. Yeah, okay, we're on Challenging here. So there we go. And here we are with Lexell. Now, Lexell is a very fast but not that strong wolf. She actually only has 20% strength. She has 60% stamina and 70% speed. And her task is going to be a little bit of a difficult one, and we might want to find a mate to help us. Now, her challenge doesn't say anything about whether or not that's allowed, so by default that means that it is. She is very fast. I apologize if things get a little bit bouncy because of that. Lost River can be a little finicky in terms of terrain. I'll try to not go racing over too many hills, because sometimes that can make the camera go a little bit weird. But her challenge is to hunt at least 2 bull elks or 2 moose in the over the course of her challenge here. So that's 4 episodes. We have to hunt down 2 of them, and that can be either type of moose or a bull elk. And we'll probably just do the hunting. Well, we want to do the hunting here or in the city. It might be better to do it in the city than out in the hills. In fact, I think I will. Unless that causes it to lag or something. Sometimes the city can be a little bit laggy just because of all the objects it has to load in. But we'll see. And yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see if this works out. Again, Lexell does not have a lot of strength, so we'll see how this manages to how we manage to do this. It's going to at least hopefully be easier than Ice's story. Oops, if I don't get stuck in a hole. Hopefully it'll be a little easier than Ice's story, because Ice had to get 2,000 experience point without overhunting, whereas we have no hunting restrictions. We just have to either hunt down 2 bull elk or 2 moose. And it can be any combination. We could do 1 bull elk and we could do a moose as well. It'll probably end up being the elk just because that's more convenient. We don't have to run around and find the moose, but if we find moose, if we happen to run into some, we might go ahead and give it a try and just see how that may work. So we'll figure it out. And then of course there's all these creepy messages here. It's a good thing wolves can't read, because I have a feeling Lexell might be a little bit unsettled by that. And in fact, I'm sure she is a little unsettled just by the strangeness of this human place. But you know, she's gonna make her home here. She's going to learn to adapt, and we'll see what we'll see how things work out. Now, hopefully, we can find somewhere in here the elk herd, and also I'll just say again, I'm pre-recording this, so if you guys are giving me advice or whatever, I do read it, I will see it, but I won't be able to apply it during the challenge. So, for example, a lot of you guys told me that you thought what was going on with Centauri's story is that we didn't have full stamina, and that was one thing I didn't end up testing. And that very well may be what was going on, but it was pre-recorded, so unfortunately, even though I saw those comments, I couldn't really do anything about it. So unfortunately, that may have been the case, but I didn't get to put it into practice during the challenge. That's going to be the case with all of the challenges leading up to the release of WolfQuest 3, because I need to get these pre-recorded. I've said it many times before, but again, I don't want to risk anything interfering when the beta period starts. So I'm currently going to be pre-recording as many of these challenges as I can, so that if for some reason there was some sort of conflict during the beta testing between WolfQuest 3 and WolfQuest 2.7, that I wouldn't have to worry about just saying, well, I can't record WolfQuest now. We're just gonna have to wait until beta is done, and then we'll start up with WolfQuest 3. By pre-recording these, at least we'll have some content to go up, and we'll have videos to be able to be posting during the time that WolfQuest 3 is in beta. We won't have to worry about just not having any WolfQuest for a little while there, because I know you guys love WolfQuest. Every time I stop playing, even for a couple of weeks, I start getting questions, where's WolfQuest? And so it makes me happy that you guys love this game as much as I do, because it is a very, very fun one to play. I have to say, the only thing that I don't like about WolfQuest, honestly, is the winter hunts. Those are very tedious to deal with and to edit. but the rest of the game I love, and hopefully WolfQuest 3 will address that issue so that we no longer have to winter hunt and we can kind of just do our thing and not even have to worry about that. So, let's see here. And then the one thing I will say, too, about WolfQuest 3 as its release draws nearer and as we start thinking about how we might, or how we're going to end up transferring Lost Tales into WolfQuest 3 while we wait for the Slough Creek release, is that I might not necessarily have as clear-cut challenges and stuff. The challenges are going to get a lot, they're going to get a lot simpler just until we can kind of get a feel for the game. So right now we have like a challenge of bringing down 2 bull elk or moose or whatever. Well, that's going to be a lot harder in the new game because it's going to be more balanced from everything we've heard towards creating a realistic experience. And a lot of the time wolves won't hunt bull elk, especially not when they're on their own. They're going to go after the weak and the sick, and so unless they can find a particularly sickly bull elk, they're not going to be going after them. And so this challenge might be nigh on impossible in WolfQuest 3, and we just don't know what the impact is going to be. So we'll probably have much more simple challenges to start off with, and then as we start to determine what is or isn't going to be possible in WolfQuest 3, then we'll end up kind of making the challenges be a little bit, we'll slowly ramp up the difficulty, basically. We'll start off with a few shorter, like a few lesser challenges, and then we'll gradually get into the harder and harder ones as we get more used to things, and as we kind of learn more about WolfQuest 3. Where did everybody go? I can't even find them now. They wandered off somewhere. And did they go down this way? No, I don't see them. We'll find them, I'm sure. They can't have gone far. But yeah, can we get through here? We can't. I thought we could just squeeze right through that, but unfortunately no. No such luck there. Did the elk herd come over here? I don't see them, at least. They might have gone the other way around. Did they go through here or something? No, I don't think so. Nope. I think I hear the hunting music, maybe. I'm not sure if I do or not. They've got to be around here somewhere. We'll figure out where they went. But yeah, so, oh, there they are. They're down there. So as we get closer to the WolfQuest 3 release, and as we get, especially as we get into the WolfQuest 3 release, then we're going to be adapting all those challenges. So that's something else that I've noticed has been happening with Lost Tales, is there are some wolves that you consistently just haven't been voting for, and my assumption with that is probably that means they don't have the most interesting of challenges. So, with the coming of WolfQuest 3, everyone's challenges are going to get redone. So even the wolves that haven't gotten that many votes recently, because maybe their challenges are a little too simple or whatever, they're going to be having their challenges reworked as well. So keep an eye out for that. It's going to totally change the dynamic of everything. Don't go down there. I do not want you falling in the ditch. Alright, there we go. We got her kind of out of that area there. That was a little bit of a difficult one. We're probably going to spend an episode or two just hunting to kind of get ready for those hunts later on, and then we'll see, depending on if we have a mate or not, too. That'll be a deciding factor in how we decide to proceed with this as well. But yeah, so that's kind of how things are going to work as we get closer to the WolfQuest 3 release, and as we get things sorted out with that. And as we head into that release, that's something that we're going to try and deal with. And again, like, what our challenge is now, maybe we'd have something like just bring down this certain number of elk. As far as I understand, too, the game is designed to promote realism, and so that probably means it's going to be discouraging mass hunting. And, so we might have to take that into consideration as well when we're tailoring our challenges. It's no longer going to be quite as simplistic to do this as it is in this version. So there's going to be a lot of changes, and I just want to kind of prepare for that as we head into what we hope are these final few weeks. Again, WolfQuest put out a video on Thanksgiving, and it still sounds like they're hoping to release before the end of the year. Now, with that said, I don't know if that's what's going to happen or not. I certainly hope it is. It may not be, because with this kind of thing, a lot of the time you'll see stuff unexpectedly come up, so I wouldn't be surprised if it gets delayed, but I'm also hoping that it won't, because the team does seem fairly confident that they can get it out within that amount of time. But again, if I had to estimate, I would say we'll most likely see WolfQuest 3 released within the next 3 months, at the very latest sometime within the next 6 months, if that, but I highly doubt that's going to be the case. I think we'll see it a lot sooner than that. But if you're going by the most conservative of estimates, then I would imagine we wouldn't have to wait much longer than that. And I'd be surprised if we have to wait that long at all. I'd be surprised if we have to wait a full 3 months. I think it sounds, everything I've heard from the devlogs and such not does sound like the team is getting really, really close. We won't really know for sure how long it's going to take until we actually get into the beta testing period, and then I think the team will probably release more info about when exactly they hope to release it, because only once we start beta testing will we have an idea of the random sorts of bugs and glitches that might pop up during the process. Oh, that didn't work. I was hitting the button, it just didn't do anything. I guess I was at the wrong angle. Sometimes it shows up and you're not quite ready to bite. Get out from behind here. This is not helpful. Alright, hopefully we can head back into town here. But yeah, I would be very surprised if it took that long to release the game. And only once we get into the beta period will we have a better idea of how many bugs and glitches we're going to be actually looking at, because it could be that the team has weeded out a lot of them just in the alpha version of the game. But it could also be that there are a lot of bugs waiting for the beta that are going to appear at the worst possible time. And this is very difficult. Okay, there we go. We got her out of there. I was going to say, that's really difficult to actually take her down. And she's getting a little confused. No! Right back in the ditch. Okay, she is out this time. That's good. She does not want to be herded. She's very, very stubborn in that regard. But yeah, so we really won't know until the beta, and that's when I imagine the team will release a more clear release date, when they'll have a better idea of what's going on and when we can expect to see the WolfQuest 3 release. But for now, the best estimate we have is by the end of this year, and I do hope they'll be able to keep to that estimate. I don't think they would be continuing to say it if they weren't confident they could at least get it within a reasonably close amount of time. But I also don't know if it'll be exactly, this is kind of scary. I also don't know if it'll be exactly that, like if it'll be that close or not. There's a bear here, oh my goodness. Like, I don't know if it'll be before the end of the year for sure or not, but I don't think the team would have made that announcement if they didn't think they were at least close enough to have a chance at it. So it might be in January, but I would be surprised if it was that much later. And again, like I said, I wouldn't expect it later than 3 months, and at the very, very latest 6 months, maybe. But I don't even think it's going to take that long, you guys. It does seem like they are getting very, very close to being done with it. And so I don't think we have that much longer to wait. But yeah, so that's something we'll have to figure out, and I'll probably enter into that revision process as I'm playing the beta, because, I will, see, the thing is, I won't be playing right from scratch the first time I record with you guys. I'll have been working on the beta for a while prior to that, and so by the time we actually get into playing WolfQuest 3, I think I'll have a reasonable amount of confidence in making the challenges, and so we can start out kind of with a set of challenges that should be fairly reasonable to complete, and then the more challenges we do, the more I'll start kind of making things a little bit more difficult and figuring out how we can make them more challenging. Currently, I believe we have an overall positive score in all categories. There might be one or two very specific ones that have a neutral one, but actually there might be one that has a negative. I think we've only had one wolf. I think Hatava's category was in regards to the river, and I think she's the only wolf that's had something in regards to the river, which, of course, she did not complete her mission. She actually failed her mission, and so with that in mind, we might have a negative in that. And so that could be something that we might have to navigate at some point as well. Now, the way the positives and negatives are going to work are going to be in regards to deaths or whatnot. Now, I don't know if I'll make it totally random. It'll probably depend on how deaths occur. But it'll be kind of part of the new system of what we use to rescue either ourselves or our mate or our pups. And so usually the main way of rescuing a wolf that has died is just by reloading the save. We kind of give them a second chance at life. And the way that's going to happen is we're going to look at the overall score of these categories that we've been working with here. And if that score is high enough, then we'll be able to give that wolf a second chance. But if that score is low, then we may not be able to give that wolf a second chance. So, for example, like, let's just say we die to a bear or whatnot. Oh, we're going to stop and eat that hare because I'm a little hungry here. But, like, let's just say, okay, we have our wolf, and our wolf dies to a bear. Do we get to continue on and keep playing as that wolf, or do we have to choose someone else? Assuming we've already had our pups and whatnot and would have an eligible heir. Well, like, let's say that we have 3 wolves who completed the bear challenge successfully and one that failed. Well, then we'd have a positive score of 2, and we could factor that in and say, well, yeah, we have a decent chance of being able to say this wolf did survive. And I don't know if we'd either do it by random number generation, like I roll a dice and somehow factor that in, or if we just look at the overall score in the situation and kind of evaluate it by hand. But in any case, we would have a much better chance of surviving a bear encounter where we technically died than if we had a +2 score, than if we had 3 wolves that failed and only 1 that succeeded, giving us a -2 score. So that's kind of how that's going to work. That's why we have all these different categories. So we have bears, we have predators, we have cougars, we have hunting, we have river, we have difficulty. We have lots of different factors. And so depending on what we or our pups die to, we'd have different chances depending on what factors come into play. We might even get multiple chances. For example, if we were playing on a hard difficulty and we lost a pup to a predator, and if that predator was a bear, then we'd have 3 categories that would come into play. We'd have the difficulty, we'd have the predators, and we'd have the bears. And it would all come into play. But it just depends on the situation. And so that'll give us a more clear guideline on what we should, or when we should or shouldn't be allowed to revive our wolves, basically, or to rescue them, I guess. Ooh, that was a little bit close. But we probably had about 15% health there. Generally, you have a little bit more health than it's going to look like you have. The bar tends to err to the side of looking like your health is really low when it's actually not. But that's probably a good thing because, for the most part, it helps keep you from being overly reckless. Now, I'm going to finish killing off this cow elk here, and then we'll probably spend the next episode hunting and probably talking again. And then the episodes after that will be our bull elk hunts. And you know what? Maybe we'll try to complete this without a mate. We'll have to see. I guess I can't really ask for your feedback because I'm pre-recording this, so unfortunately I know some of you guys are going to try and give me ideas in the comments. I can't see them, I'm sorry, I'll read them afterwards, but I can't see them at the time that this is actually running. So we'll see how we feel by the end of the next episode about that. Lexell is she's kind of challenging to deal with here because of her low strength, but we'll see. Depending on how we feel about that, we may or may not get a mate to help us, but we won't decide that in this episode. We'll decide that in the next one, probably, and or maybe even between the bull elk hunts. But yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up after this hunt. I think we'll just bring down this elk. We've got a good number of carcasses here, but considering that Lexell is alone, we do need to plan to take more damage than we normally would. We do need to make plans as if we're going to be struggling greatly each time. And there we go. So we're going to go ahead and wrap up this episode here for today because it is about that time again. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. But until then, this is Jay. Over and out.